Alright, what's going on, guys? So like I said in the last video, we're going to go ahead and try and put the front suspension together. So first things first, we got to get this this cross member in there and the steering rack. Now in the previous video, 2 videos ago, this bushing I thought was too small. Well, I bought another one from a different company and it was supposed to be the correct one, and there's still a gap there. So, you know, I don't really know. I'm just gonna go with it. So that would be 2 companies that sent me the wrong part in the correct year box. So I don't know, I'm just gonna go with it. That's the one that came with it, so we're gonna go with it. It's not that hard to replace it later. So let's go ahead and get this in the car. There's just 2 bolts that go on each side with some kind of like spacer washer deals that go on the top and bottom. So let's get that in the car. Alright, just got the cross member and the steering linkage in. Went in pretty easy. Not too much else to say. Just 4 bolts and she's in. So we're gonna go ahead and do the control arms now. Alright, so it has been a minute later and got quite a bit of work done. So here is basically the driver's side suspension, pretty well put together. I am just now getting ready to do the end links, but everything else is in there installed. I forgot to pick up something to grease these. I'm gonna have to go to the store and get that. So I haven't tightened everything down like to spec. I've kind of just done everything kind of hand tight because this is of course not going to be put together and then finalized. So and anyway, I heard that whenever you put new bushings and polyurethane bushings on, you need the weight of the motor and it's sitting on the ground before you really tighten everything up. So everything's kind of hand tight right now, and I'm gonna get those end links on and then I'll do the other side and I'll try and get a video of it. Alright, so it's the next day. Hopefully that time lapse was okay. You know, it's kind of hard to film putting all this back together since there's like so much to do, and you know, I'm kind of learning as I go, so it would just be a lot of film if I filmed everything. So I'll just kind of go through what I did, kind of give you a close-up of everything. It took a few tries getting the washers and these bushings in the right order. So that took a few tries, and it kind of just, I had to look at some pictures to see how it all went back together, but overall it's pretty simple. I mean, just kind of show you guys what it looks like in case maybe you're doing your own. There's the ball joint down in there. I got those greased. Got them both greased. Now for the TC rods, or the traction rods, I guess, I got the new bushings for those, but a lot of research that I did, and a lot of people recommended not to use both of the new bushings on front and back side because it puts, I guess, too much tension on it and they seem to break. So they recommended that you put the OEM ones on one of the sides. So like the OEM rubber, not the polyurethane. So I got polyurethane on this side and the OEM on the other side. So that's what they said. I don't know. I haven't really talked to anybody that I guess broke one, but that's what everybody recommended. So I did it. Not really a big deal. But yeah, in the time lapse I put together this one wrong, so just make sure you note that that's how it gets put together. I had to go back and do it. But yeah, I've got the rotors out because I'm probably going to be replacing the bearings in those and then put them on. So that's probably going to be next. I might start painting a few more parts, and then doing a few things with the rear end and the bushings in the rear end. So we'll go ahead and get to work. Okay, before I do the new wheel bearings for those, I'm going to start working on the rear suspension type stuff. I've got the new bushing kit here. This should cover everything. The diff is up over there. But first, my friend Jake was not able to sandblast these, so I'm going to just wire wheel them, get them as clean as I can, paint them. He did get those done, so I'm going to burn those bushings out. Same with these here, and start working on these bushings. Okay, so the video was going to make that look a lot easier than it was. But yeah, I basically just burned it, and then I was able to get that center bushing out. But then you're still left with a whole bunch of rubber in there, and that is a pain to get out. A lot of trouble. So basically, I kind of just took a hammer and got a lot of it off. Not a hammer, but a screwdriver, and pried most of it off. And then anything that was left, I just burnt it out. So I burnt it, I would scrape it out, burn it, scrape it out, and that was pretty much it. That took quite a while to do that, so be prepared for that. Now I'm going to go ahead and try the control arm bushings. I'm going to go ahead and get those out. Okay, so after knocking the center sections out, I'm left with that rubber in there. So that's the hard part to get out. There's that rubber still in there. So I'm gonna spend some time and burn it out and hopefully clean it up. And on the rear control arms, you're supposed to leave that that sleeve, that metal sleeve in there that we cut out on the front control arm, on the front control arms. Supposed to leave that in there. So. Okay, so these are finally clean. Got them pretty clean in there. All the rubber out. Best as I could do. Yeah, that takes a really long time, and it's kind of frustrating. So it's clean now though, so the new bushings are pretty much ready to go in. But I'm gonna go ahead and wire wheel this and get all this surface rust off and make it look good again. So got this one on the floor, so I'm gonna go ahead and start with this one, and I'm gonna wire wheel it, and next time you see it, it's gonna be clean right about now. All right, so here it is, kind of cleaned up. I mean, it still doesn't look the best, but it's using a wire wheel, not a sandblaster, so it's it's gonna not turn out perfect. You can see how much dust just came off, but that's that side, and this side looks pretty good. Need to get in there a little bit more, but yeah, this part is pretty much ready to be painted. I'll throw some self-etching primer on it, but I'm gonna get all of the parts put together and we'll start painting them. Okay, so got all of the suspension parts clean, got them wiped down with some lacquer thinner, and you know, they're ready to be painted. So just give you a close-up of everything. Got all that done. This came out pretty decent. Spent a little bit more time cleaning on them. Sway bar and the mustache bar all ready to be painted. So I'm gonna throw some self-etching primer on there. Okay, so all of these parts are painted. Got the self-etching primer on there. So yeah, one can covered both sides of them, so they're all looking pretty good. Pretty happy with that. So now I'm gonna go ahead and actually paint them. Got some black paint and a little bit of gold, so let's go ahead and get these painted. All right, so just got the last coat put on this side of them. I know that clip that I recorded, that was the first light coat. I did one more light coat and then a pretty heavy coat just now. So wanted them to get a little glossy, so put a little heavy coat on there. They look pretty good as they're gonna get. Just a lot of pitting going on that piece of metal, but nothing you can do about that. That one looks pretty good. Got this here, looks pretty good. The spray can was messing up and one little piece dripped on there, so it dripped, but I was kind of able to hide it. It was like right there. Can't really see it anymore, but yeah, so now I need to wait a little while and then flip them over. So go ahead and do that, and then I painted the mustache bar gold, so that should look pretty good in there. All right, so there is the last coat on the other side. Did a pretty heavy coat, made them look real shiny, so they look pretty good. Gonna let them dry overnight, and then they'll be good to go ahead and install in the car. Sorry I didn't get to the front wheel bearings. I'm gonna have to do that another day, but got a lot done. So as usual, thanks for watching, and I will see you in the next one.